Good morning, church. Today we're looking at the last verse of Psalm 100, which ends this week's meditation. Psalm 100, verse 5. For the Lord is good. His loving kindness is everlasting, and his faithfulness to all generations. In the 4 verses leading up to this verse, we examined the attitude we should have towards worshiping God. The quality of worship that is full of enthusiasm, anticipation, and expectancy. We saw that all nations are to worship God, as he is the creator, the only creator, and we all belong to him. And we also saw that we can worship him anywhere, but especially as his gathered people. Now, today we see the reasons given for exuberant worship. I mean, this is not just, I'm going to worship God. This is, I'm going to worship God stuff. So let's look at the verse. For the Lord is good. Here we are introduced to the nature and the character of God. God is good, and therefore all things that come from God are good and helpful. In Romans 8:28 we read this, and we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purposes for them. Even the birds flying over. This psalm encourages us to recall all the wonderful things God has done for his people throughout the ages. For example, the Lord took care of the Israelites for 40 years in the desert. The more than 2 million people were never sick. Their clothes did not wear out. They had food and water every day. It was 40 years of miracles. That's something to remember. The verse says his loving kindness, his mercy, is everlasting. The words loving kindness and the word mercy are often interchangeable. And these words introduce us to the compassion and love of God towards us. Note that God's mercy is everlasting. It endures forever and never fails. Mercy asks that justice be set aside. Mercy is an act of love to pardon the guilty. It consists of setting aside the penalty of the law when the penalty has been incurred by transgression. In other words, by breaking the law. Justice treats every individual according to what they deserve. Mercy, on the other hand, treats the wrongdoer very differently from how he or she deserves to be treated. And this is echoed in Paul's letter to the church at Rome. In Romans 5:8 we read this. But God showed his great love for us by sending Christ to die for us while we were still sinners. That is key. The psalm goes on and says, and his faithfulness to all generations. The psalmist notes that not only do we receive mercy, but that mercy is extended to our children and their children down the generations. In Deuteronomy 7 verse 9, we read these incredible words. Understand therefore that the Lord your God is indeed God. He is the faithful God who keeps his covenant for 1,000 generations and lavishes his unfailing love on those who love him and obey his commands. And so in Psalm 100 verse 5, we are given the key reasons for exuberant worship of God. So let's listen to that verse once more. Psalm 100 verse 5. For the Lord is good. His loving kindness is everlasting, and his faithfulness to all generations. May these words inspire you to worship him. Have a wonderful day. God bless you.